Hello, my name is Ian.
And I'm Lauren.
Welcome to Bars and Bells Bar Practice. Here we are. We have a 15-minute mobility series coming your way. We're going to put our ballet slippers or use socks as well.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
sort of. We're going to hit reset because we're actually filming this double, and we're trying to make a nice ended 15-minute video. So
And Lauren didn't get that cue.
No, we're going to reboot. Hello, welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Ian.
I'm Lauren.
And in this 15-minute video, we will explore bar warm-ups for feet, knees, hips, and core, and prepare our bodies to explore the strength on the bar. Before we place our shoes on, let's just take a second and look at our toes. Sit anyhow you wish. Place your heavy feet in the floor, including your heel, the pinky side of your foot, and that big toe mound. Lift only the big toe and hold for 5, 4, 3, place it down. Other side, or other 4 toes, same deal. Lift and spread and lift, and keep the pinky and the big toe mound and the heel heavy and place down. One more exercise for that foot. Can you lift up a big toe, lift up the index toe, then the middle and ring and pinky, and place the pinky, place the ring, work on that separation, middle and index, and all the way back to the big toe. And as well, let that be loose, loosey-goose. Same thing on the other side. Sitting tall, breathing always, heavy through the big toe, the heel, the tripod of the foot, and lift up that big toe for 10, 9. Breathe into it. We can assist if we need, and return to the ground. Press down heavy through the big toe, and lift the other 4 phalanges there, and we're heavy through the foot tripod, and place down. Last exercise for the toes. Lift up the big toe, lift up the index, and articulate across the foot as we lift all 5 toes there, and then place the pinky, then the ring, to the middle, to the index, lastly on that big toe, and as well, shake that out. Pay attention to the toe strength and the foot strength that will help your lifts and your movements on the bar. We're going to put our slippers on, shoes on, socks on, and start warming up our feet in our first and second positions. First, we should spend some time in parallel. Stand anyhow you wish, feet in parallel, standing nice and tall. And my favorite place for those hands are those hip holsters here, shoulder blades squeezing together. First, pull yourself into a straw, which means heavy feet, kneecaps pulling up, bum cheeks squeezed, ribs down, and maintain your breath. 1 foot at a time, flex on the knee and the hip and the ankle. Avoid the sickle foot as we point. We flex over those toes, come back to a point, big toe mound, push down heavy, and pull the foot to the shin or dorsiflex on the ankle. Repeat 1 more time, same side. Pull the foot to the ball, to the point, to the flex, to a point, to the ball, to pull down, and lastly, to dorsiflex on the ankle. Repeat on the other side. Stiff legs, ball of foot or demi, to point, to flex, to point, to ball, to push, and finish with that dorsiflexion, flexing on that ankle, and ball down heavy, pull to the forefoot, push to the toes, flexing over, to the toe, to the ball of the foot, and press down. Open up or pivot on heels to first, and a little bit more rhythmic, same idea. Demi, and then over, and then demi and close, and demi and towards over, and point, and demi, close. And nice and control, little bit slower as you need, a little bit more rhythmic. Articulate or undulate across those ranges. Let's do that one last time each side here. And finish in our first. In our first position, I would like us to explore a little bit of a hula hoop. Tuck the hips under, tilt the bum back. I think we all know that Lauren calls me out when I start to show that posture. Tuck the hips under, tilt the hip back. But then what about a little bit of side to side? Give it a little bit of some attitude there. Give a little bit of some side to side. Maintain nice stiff knees for the rest of this drill and tuck the hips under and try to perform a nice revolution of a hula hoop exercise. I've returned to front and then I'm going to go around the back or towards the other side. I feel my knees wanting to flex and I'm encouraging them to stay straight. Tendu to second, place down, repeat. Tuck under, nice and controlled, do that hula hoop, pulling up the kneecaps, keeping the knees nice and straight. And then I'm finished one repetition, and then there I go around my second side to center. Pull yourself into your safe horse stance, goddess pose, second position plie, and try the same thing. Tuck the hips, little bit of that hula hoop, say hello to the hip. That's my revolution 1 and second revolution. All the way back to center and pull yourself up tall. Tendu, close, and just relax for a second or two. Get yourself on that balance aid like a chair, the kitchen island, any back of couch as appropriate. We're going to find ourselves on our bars and start to work on our first set of pliés for today. With your feet in parallel, hand on the hip, first position if you wish, pivot, feet to turn into first. Plie, demi, stretch. Pulling together in a straw. Demi, stretch. Repeat one more. This time with the grand plie to the balls of the feet. Hold for a second. Balls of the feet heavy. Pull the knees together. Tendu to second. Place down. Repeat 3 repetitions of our plie. Pulling ourselves low. Cramping up tall. Pulling ourselves low. Cramping up tall.
Tucking that tail every time.
And you're between those 2 panes of glass. We're in that low position for the extra second. Press out. Tendu to the 4th position. And again, just spend some time here. Straighten the knees. Push the hips forward. For 1 repetition, start to spread those knees rather. Level those hips. And just safely hang out in a nice elevated 4th position. Squat here, hanging out, pushing down and pulling up for 4, 3, cramp up to tall. Repeat one last time, pulling the knees apart, cramping up tension. I find myself pressing down through the back leg and pulling up through the front hip for 3, 2, extend, point to tendu, rondo to second position, and close. Same thing on the other side, you might have to turn around, but tendu to second, rond towards 4th, toe to heels, straight knees. I know I have to correct my hips, and as I did that, I just saw Lauren make that nice arrangement too. Hips facing forward. If we can do that, then we're thinking knees that spread. I do find myself again crushing down tension in the back and a little bit of pulling up in the front leg and extension. And repeat one more time, just for about 2. Pulling the knees apart, creating tension, tucking the hip, cramping up to tall. Tendu to the front, round out to that second position, close to first. Relax that tension. We're going to stay on the bar for 1 more exercise. Hip bars, stiff legs. Before we do, internal and external hip rotation. With the dorsiflexed ankle or our karate foot, extend the leg out front. From this position, externally rotate the stiff knee that the inseam faces forward. Alternate that with an internal hip rotation, making sure we don't sickle the foot. Repeat 2 more. External rotation, internal rotation, external rotation, inseam forward, internal rotation, it hides. Now perform 1 external rotation. Move, round, that out towards the side. That ain't gonna go too far, at least not with my hip. From this position, same thing. Internal rotation, watch the sickled foot, external rotation. Internal rotation, stiff knees, stacked cores, external rotation. Keep the external rotation, bring it to the front, and close. You might switch, use that balance aid. I'm gonna step away just to give myself a little bit more room. Same thing to the front. Stiff, tall, standing leg. Heel dorsiflexed on the ankle. External rotation, inseam forward. Internal rotation, lateral bum cheeks say hello. External and internal. And repeat 1 more time, external and internal. 1 more repetition, external rotation. Round or open up to that side position. And again, internal rotation, external rotation, inseam forward. Twice more. Internal rotation, watch the sickled foot, external. 1 more internal. 1 more on the X. Round or pull to front. Close to center. Relax for a second. All those rotations in the hip, in and out, aim to help you do the rond de jambe exercise, or in our case, we call it the hip bar. We're going to perform a low hip bar, followed by a hip bar en l'air, or off the floor. Get to the bar. Hands on those hip bolsters, first or second position as you wish. And tendu or point to forward. Use now that ballet foot or plantar flexed foot. Tall postures as we round away from that bar, showing you that inseam at second. Then we will internally rotate on that hip as we bring it into the back line here. We're nice and tall in that straw. We'll flex over toes and pull underneath the hip. Extend the knee, cramp up the kneecap to the back, opening up in that hip as we externally rotate and reach and reach and reach and reach and reach wide and wide to the front, and then over the foot and under the hip. Repeat, low as you need or off the floor as appropriate. To the front in the tendu, off the floor as allowed, reaching out of that hip socket, sending energy through the tippy toes. The hips are level, the knees are straight. We're rotating in the hip, find true center, tap out the back, flex over toes, and under. And again, Lauren's doing a wonderful job containing the rib flare. So let's wear those ribs down, extend the hip to the back, open up in this external rotation off the floor if you can remember to do that again. And then opening up, opening away to the front position. Tendu, close like it's easy. I think we all know it's not. We're going to switch sides here. Again, make this about that hip tension, the hip control, and then we can work on the balance later. We're tall, cramping up the inside leg. Tendu action on that front foot forward. Hips square, ribs down. Open up from front to that second position. Keep the external rotation as long as you can, and then let yourself internally rotate that hip as we reach around to the back. Flex over the toes and bring the foot underneath to center. Repeat to the back, extension of the hip and the knee, reaching out towards my side or Lauren here on the floor to the front. Stiff knee as I pull in, and final repetition, tendu front using the floor, opening up, externally rotating in that hip as we open up over that hurdle, and we keep the ribs level, and we maintain our breath, The leg reaches to the back. You flex over toes with stiff knees to center and extend the hip using the floor. Perhaps lift up, straighten that knee, send energy out of the toes forward as we go forward to tap, to pull in. Last exercise from standing before we get on the floor, I'd like to explore our porter drop. Maintaining our scapular control for the shoulders is important for the grace and aesthetic of ballet and the functionality of our strength. Standing in a position, foot position of your choice, first or second would be my recommendation. Start with our arms in our brava or first position, and from first, open to the front. Maintain one arm here and open the other. Send some energy out the fingertips and bring it back. Open the other side, looking at that hand if you wish, and bringing it back to center. That's 2 of 10. I'm on my third, and I close. I'm on my fourth, and I close. And I'm on my fifth, and close. I've got 4 more here.
Are you also in a straw with your lower
And
body?
you know it, my feet are heavy, my butt is squeezed, my ribs are down. I think I have 1 more each side. Ooh, I got sloppy on that one arm. And it's so hard to think about all those things and return your arms to low. Same thing, arms overhead. This time, open up to the side and to the top. Open to the side, the hand might turn down and turn up. If that's 3 and 4. Where are your armpits here as we do this exercise? We're making sure that we're supported underneath the shoulder. Last 1 or 2.
You're tucked under.
We're tucked under. And as Lauren says those tuck words, and I squeeze my bum, I brace my core, return the arms up and down to first. And let them relax. Arms are heavy. I always find it amazing how heavy those arms are. Take time, work it.
Very heavy.
We're going to finish today's exercise on the floor. The forward fold and our hip extension. If we go parallel and we started tucking our chin, tuck your chin and pull the rib cage onto the hips. Flexing through the spine, stiff knees as allowed, bent knees if you need for sure, and continue to flex the spine nice and controlled to the floor. From here, we'll walk out. This would be a nice planks position. Let's save that for another day. And instead, knees on the floor, and somehow find yourself on your back. Hands can go here. That's where I'll have them just because it gives a better visual for my hips. Also acceptable down low. And then most challenging, I would say, is in that overhead direction. With the hands as fists, shoulders together, cramp up a single glute by lifting a single foot. With the foot that remains on the floor, start pushing into the floor, creating tension in hopefully the back of the body, the glute and the front of the body, the core. Relax that tension. Switch feet. Same thing. Push that foot into the floor, create tension between you and the floor. And for 3 more seconds, can you feel that tension on cramping up the glute? Relax and down. Now do that together. Heavy feet. You might not go anywhere, but you can still feel a little bit of work. You make your hands as fists. You wear your shoulders down. And for 3 more seconds, cramp up the glutes. And relax. Now put that all together, cramp up the feet tension, cramp up those glutes, tuck under the hips like we're doing a little bit of that hula hoop, and bring yourself in an articulating fashion to your hip bridge, and for 10 seconds, cramp up, meaning 10 seconds of packing shoulders, bracing abs, squeezing butts together, pulling the knees together, pushing your feet in the floor and holding for 1, and articulate down the spine, top to bottom, as allowed. Repeat 1 more time, cramp up in a hip extension, bridge position, tension, meaning heavy feet, glute squeeze, core brace, maintain your breath for 5, 4, 3, and articulate down, visit that high planks position, a little bit of a spin around into a high plank, and repeat our fold to standing. Straighten legs, nice and controlled on the up, breathing along the way, walking hands to feet or feet to hands, squeezing the glutes, holding the core, and returning to our standing position. I'd like to finish tonight's practice with 1 series of a port bra. Pick your foot position. I will stick with my first, my bum squeezing, I'm in my straw. Hands in our first position for 10 repetitions, 5 each way, full port bra. Ready to go? From first, overhead, pick a side open, close the first. From first to 5th, alternate your side, look at those hands and send them through. Rep number 3, shoulders are low, creating that expression and the softness to the arms, and then first to 5th, open up and close, again, open and 5th to close. Now let's go from first to 2nd to 5th, so low, look to the side, overhead, looking straight, and down. Cramping up the tension out to the side, making it look effortless and low. And from first to the side, and from side to overhead, and back. And out to the side, and overhead. And ribs are down, and last repetition here, out to the side, back to overhead, and return to first position. And relax. Thank you very much for joining us here at a barre practice. We look forward to sharing simple strength exercises with you, to have fun in classes, to stay strong in life. We hope to see you soon. Take care.
Oh, shoot.